We are joined by the wonderful Adam from ExtrudaSeal. How are you, sir?
Very well, very well.
Loving this stand as well. This part of the show is absolutely huge, isn't it? How have you found the show so far?
Very good, to be honest, very good. We've had several new clients, several existing clients, which are always a pleasure to revisit and see. And we're expecting several more clients, existing and new, to attend, so it should be
I was
good.
going to say, do you get to meet your clients face to face very often? Because a lot of time now we live in an email world, we live in a conversation world, but actually kind of face to face and actually getting to know your business is great.
I think it's definitely a changed environment from where we were. I think you're right, a lot of it's through the electronic process perhaps, but this is more of a face-to-face environment, an environment that I think, like you say before about trust, relationships, you're able to enhance those at shows like this, which is vital.
Well, talk to me a bit about ExtrudaSeal and what you guys do and what the products you have on the show this year.
Yeah, so this year we're always innovating, we're always pushing the boundaries to support our fabricator network. Vitally important that we continue to do that with our existing clients and bring in new clients on board. We have several different products, new innovations this year. One's our Prema-Seal. That's a nylon cord running through our gaskets, which prevents the overstretching during fabrication, so shrinkage, no callbacks and site visits from fabricators. So that's a massive element of cost reduction for us.
I was going to say, is that something that up until now happened a lot, unfortunately, with the products because the evolution of the product just wasn't there?
Exactly, that's it. And sort of as we move on and we have technological innovations, we're able to streamline manufacturing to be able to implement this technology. Again, reducing costs, which in this environment is vital.
Well, I was going to say, because the cost of doing something in the first place is the number one, particularly for the end client. But if you can make that cheaper over time, with you're not getting that expansion, or you haven't got to go back, the overstretching, you've got a product that works the first time.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Buy cheap, buy twice kind of attitude.
That's it. And it builds confidence from a client in ourselves, knowing that the product they're using 5-6 years down the line is going to be as good as the day it went in. So
show us a little bit about what's new for 2025 and the changes, if you can.
For 2025, we've just upgraded all our logistical network to help out with deliveries. So everything's now delivered on our own network, which is vital, considering everything's manufactured in the UK by ourselves. Does
that mean it stays in-house kind of thing?
Everything is in-house now. That's actually provided us a cost reduction as well to sort of fight against all the increases all businesses are up against at the moment. So we're trying to offset as much of that as possible. So innovation is ultimately where it's at, to keep those costs limited as much as possible. But obviously moving forward, we want to continue doing that. The only way we continue doing that is feedback from existing clients, feedback from new clients coming on board, and listening to development.
Do you have more control over the product as well if it's in-house?
Definitely, yeah. So we also do full bespoke tooling as well for different gasket profiles. So we don't just supply to the aluminium fabrication industry. We go through to marine, we do through to really specific needs and requirements. And what we find is that each input, each bit of feedback from those help us ultimately continue to supply something that's required within the market.
And does every year or every 2 years, when we're lucky enough to see you guys at the show, do you find evolution in the products has changed at a rapid rate, or is it calming down a little bit?
It's potentially calmed down a little bit. I think what's probably changing at the moment is, like the introduction in our designing of 3D printing.
Yeah.
That's a massive element now, so we're able to 3D print in flexible, so there's not a commitment for someone to pay for tooling up front to get that sample for approval. We can now print that, sample for approval, then tool up. So that's a huge time-saving element.
How did you do that before the beauty of 3D printing? How was that done? Or was it a mass production, it works or it doesn't work?
Yeah, it was a 2D drawing that was taken, and then that would literally be produced as a tool. So obviously you've got quite a large investment at that point of view. And an investment, I'm not going to say to gamble, because we'll always make it work, but it's still a huge investment for a product that may not quite be right, or you may not want to proceed with on the first prototype. So being able to have that 3D printing option means the first prototype's normally there or thereabouts, but any tweaks isn't a huge cost to make.
I love that. That's a really great example of how new tech can really save
integrate
money and integrate and also save a business a lot of money down the line. That's got to really help, isn't it? What do you have with us today?
So this is what I talked about briefly earlier. This is the nylon cord running through the centre of the product here. I'm pretty sure you could probably tow a car if you wrapped this around. It literally will not stretch. So that means when it's fitted on site, in the wonderful sunshine we've got today, perhaps not in here but outside, when they heat up, the material gets more flexible, more supple, so it heats up. So if that's been stretched in the initial fabrication, that will start to shrink when it cools down. That can create issues. That nylon cord, like I say, prevents it completely, holds the gasket in place from when it was fitted in factory to fitted on site.
Who'd have thought we'd ever have that problem in the UK?
I tell you what, who'd have thought we'd be at a show for 3 days and the weather would be as nice as this?
I don't want to talk about it. We're much happier. He's lying. He doesn't even want to be outside. Look at the tan on the man already. He doesn't need that topped up. It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for chatting.
Nice to meet you.
Good to see you.
All the best.